Yeah, let's move on.
Let's talk Patriots, guys. Let's talk Patriots.
Mhm.
Do we have to?
We must, because they're actually a playoff team, and I know that's like a foreign kind of a concept for Jets people. I get it,
Yeah.
but it's something. So, but there is some conversation to be had. This is the second time this season the Patriots have gone for 50 points. They beat the Jaguars in week 17, 50-10. Earlier in the year, they beat the Jets 54 to, like, was it like 3 or something? No, it was a massive massacre of massive proportions. Is that enough massives for you guys? Like, it was massive.
It's a massacre, massive,
massacre.
Paul just left the chat.
Yeah, 54-13 was the score. So I mean, the Jets actually did better than the Jaguars, which is something. Did Paul just leave? He just left.
Yeah, he's off and on. Yeah.
As we talked about this particular thing.
He's off and on.
This is crazy. This is how we're doing it. Wow. At any rate, so the thing of it is, and this conversation came up, right after the second game with the Jets. The Patriots beat the Jets 54-13. And the question was, is there an issue with this, right? We're in the fourth quarter. Game is well in hand. Okay. And not only does Bill Belichick still have the vast majority of his starters on the field, they're freaking throwing the ball. And I'm talking about taking deep shots down the field. And clearly they're not caring. Like they're like that kid playing Madden who like doesn't care. He's up like 38-10 and he's scoring touchdowns, kicking onside kicks to get the ball right back. They're like that guy, right?
Yeah.
So they did it again yesterday. And so here's the crazy thing about it too, right? Belichick will then start to go to his bench, bring in Brian Hoyer, brings in some backup receivers, and they're still chunking it. They're still throwing the ball. They're still taking deep shots. Happened against the Jets. It happened against the Jaguars last week. So the question is, do you fault Bill Belichick for, and some people don't want to say running up the score. They don't like the way that sounds. They don't like the way that feels. But I mean, it really is what it is. They're like, hey, you can't stop us. We're going to keep scoring. Do you have a problem with that? So I'm going to give my take on it. I personally don't have a problem with it. I call it what it is. It is running up the score. It is driving your foot across the face of your opponent and not caring how they feel about it. But you know what? This is big boy sports, and this is how it works. If the best thing you can do if you don't like it when I score is keep me from scoring again. That's the best thing you can do. If you don't like it, you got to stop me. And that's just what it is. Sitting up saying, oh, it's classless. The game's over already. Why would you continue to score touchdowns in that way? This is just classless. To who? And then and I'm going to say something, and you guys are probably going to really be like, oh my God, you're a horrible human being. So I've coached youth basketball before. I've coached grammar school, I've coached high school, whatever, basketball. And there are times, right, when I've had some really good teams. I had a team where we went undefeated and won the whole section or whatever, right? It was a great time. I was coaching my son as well. And I'm telling you, some games we're mowing kids down, like mowing kids over. So what I would do is I would pull all my starters, which is how we got the lead. And then I would keep one of my starters on the floor. And then I put a bunch of kids on the floor who generally would never hardly get a chance to score. But this was their time to get their thing. And I'd keep one starter on the floor to kind of help facilitating them getting their offense because I wanted those kids to have a good day, right? Now on a professional level, and trust me, I got some flack for that, right? Because they were trying, why you still have him on the floor? Because I'd either keep my son on the floor or his friend. They were the guards. They could handle the ball the best. They could get kid shots. So on a professional level, that's not the case. But what you do have is you do have a secondary motive that is not really about rubbing it in the face of the opponent. Sometimes it's simply about, hey, we got other stuff to work on, and we want to prepare our second string guys for being able to, to be ready in the event that they're called on. We're talking about the NFL. Brian Hoyer is the starting quarterback after one bad play. Somebody breaks through, hits Mac Jones, he falls wrong. Suddenly, Brian Hoyer is the starting quarterback. Now, obviously, he's a veteran, he's played, but this is the mentality that you have to have. So, for that reason, as well as I'm just not a subscriber to the whole participation trophy kind of a concept, I have no problem with scoring until the clock runs out. What do you say, Lorenzo?
This is the time of year where you're going to see killer instincts, people in assassin modes, and guess what? This is Bill Belichick doing just that. No, I do not fault Bill Belichick one bit. If anything, he's clearly sending the message. We're back in the playoffs. We're not here for a participation trophy. Don't bleep with us. We're here to make a run, and we're making our statement, even if it's against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I've seen this also across the landscape, not just at youth sports as well. I mean, I could have started. Maybe I might have covered your basketball game, Brian, because I remember. But in college football, you go against a lesser program, it's like they're going to put 70 on, and they're going to most likely pull their starters in the third quarter, and then let the other guys, the other 4 or 5 stars or whatever, play just to build their confidence. I'm looking at it like maybe he was secretly trying to build Brian Hoyer's confidence, especially in the event that Mac Jones may be in the situation where he's struggling and they need that assurance. But this is the time of year where it's you get into this killer mode. You get into this real aggressive, violent mode. You're not going to win in the playoffs being passive. So I have no problem with this at all. And I'm not even a Patriots fan.
I hear it. What do you say, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, you got to respect the process. I mean, this is the NFL. This is not Pee Wee. This is not flag football here. We're in a professional sports league here. And I'll be completely honest, there were so many games going on. I did not watch a single second of the Jaguars-Patriots game because we all knew what the result was going to be. Unless you're covering the team, either team, you're not watching that game. Okay, Brian, you watched it. But
no, I was covering it. That's not.
Yeah, you're covering it. I completely understand, but whoever was watching and you were a bystander to it, you're watching a train wreck, but you're gonna watch the train wreck because it's entertaining, whatever. But I just don't see what the issue is here. I don't even know what to say. The Jaguars almost deserve to get beaten on the way they've been running the organization the last, 10, 15 years with the cons, putting Meyer into that situation, making Lawrence look like, a 6th round pick. I mean, this is a wake-up call. I think the Jaguars definitely need to, experience this. And the Patriots, look, they're a couple weeks away from going to the playoffs. Why are they just going to put the foot on, the gas and just foot on the brake and just say, you know what, let's just put out, our 4-string guys and 3-string guys. Let's take it up a notch. And, we got the Dolphins next week, and we got to see how things go there. So I completely agree with you guys. I don't even know what the question is here. This is definitely a respect the game, respect the process, respect how this football league goes. I mean, this is NFL, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I think one other factor that does need to be mentioned, and it doesn't change the way I feel, but it does need to be mentioned. The Jaguars roster was also ravaged by COVID-19, absences. So we're already talking about a 2-win team. Mm-hmm. We're talking about a 2-win team that's also ripped apart by COVID. And every team in the NFL has some level of some sort of COVID issue going on, but the Jaguars were hit particularly hard. So that does deserve to be mentioned. I still don't fault Bill for doing it, but that does add a little bit more perspective to why maybe some people may have felt like, okay, Bill, they're dead. Stop kicking them, kind of a thing. But what say you, Paul Green? Let me tell you something. Paul Boy Green is one of the biggest Bill Belichick fans I've ever met in my life. He has pictures of Bill.
Yeah, selfies too.
He has a Christmas ornament on his Christmas tree that is actually a little hoodie So I know how you love it. So tell me what you say.
A couple of things here. I am a big Madden fan, and shout out, obviously, rest in peace to John Madden, one of the great football icons we've ever seen. But I am a Madden video game fan, and the two analysts that you hear talking during the game are Brandon Godden, good friend, and Charles Davis. And what Charles Davis will say, because they pre-program all these lines for all kinds of situations in the game, when I'm railing somebody, I'm scoring a bunch of points, Brandon Guy will be like, what the hell is he doing out there? Lay off the horses. You're beating them pretty bad. Charles Davis will be like, we always got to worry about the scoring tiebreaker. That's what you got to tell the other team. You're trying to score as many points just in case. Yeah, you got to go to the scoring tiebreaker. So obviously that's always a factor here. And also, can we fault Trevor Lawrence for continuing to give Patriots opportunities with all these picks? I mean, geez, Trevor Lawrence. And it's not enough of a story. Maybe it's because Jacksonville and they suck. But he has like one touchdown pass like the last 9 games. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, Peyton Manning, all these kinds of prospects not looking too tasty. But let's get to the question. Do I fault Bill Belichick for running up the score on this wounded animal that is known as the Jacksonville Jaguars? Absolutely not. No, this team stinks. They suck. Bill Belichick has a weird fascination and probably should be evaluated by a mental institution for his weird sick pleasure in beating teams. Not that I know anything about that in particular, but he does seem to have this history. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw him on that show Snapped, where things just happen and he just like randomly attacks somebody. It seems like he has a lot of pent up emotion happening inside that hoodie there for old Mr. Bill Belichick. So no, you can't fault him. This is the NFL. This is a league where people are getting paid on both sides. You got to sack up, okay? If you don't want to get scored on, then play some gosh darn defense out there. I hate when teams and players all over the place are whining, crying like, oh, you ran up the score. I'm not cool with that. If you're not cool with it, then stop it, bro. That's what you get paid to do. So, no, I can't fault Bill Belichick. Obviously, I'm his number one fan. There's no one that is a bigger fan of Bill Belichick than me, obviously. So, you know what? If they want to celebrate and, get all excited about, being a wild card team and not winning the division for the second straight year, I'm all about it for the New England Patriots. Way to go. Way to not win the division. You know what? I would be celebrating too if I was making a wild card appearance. That's great. That's great for New England. Way to go. Solid.
You former Jets coach Bill Belichick.
I'm sure you would actually be celebrating if you were making a wild card.
It hasn't happened in 11 years, for God's sake.
Wow. I mean, that's pretty.
Yeah, former Jets coach Bill Belichick also.
That's right. Yeah.
For a day.
For like 24 hours. I forget how long it was.
Napkin. Very nice.
Wrote it on the napkin. I don't want to be here. This place is horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happened.
Yeah.